One. Welcome to another edition of First Person, sponsored again by the Bruns Realty Company in Troy and Tipp City on Tipp-Colesville Road, celebrating 65 years of service to the Miami County community in both residential and commercial real estate. Call Bruns for your next move. They'll help you make it the right one. On a miserable spring day in May, I don't know how much it's rained today, but it is cold, it's rainy. We're inside, obviously, in the gymnasium at the old Tipp City High School. Bruce Cahill is our guest this week, the head coach of the Tipp Red Devils. Off to another great start this year, another 20-win season, and another addition to the legacy of great baseball here. Got to talk to you a little bit about this new addition, because we saw you last week at Troy. I was so impressed. Had a big win against Butler this week. We want to talk about that in a minute. But congratulations on another year. I might say that all these years, 25 or whatever it's been, look pretty good on you.
25. How about 34?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, 34.
I was being kind. People tell me you're cold and heartless. There's proof.
Right.
You know, 34 looks like 25 on you, but go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah. It looks good on you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Tell me a little bit about this team this year, because as you told me last week up at Troy, you've had uncharacteristic consistency and depth in your order in terms of production. Offensive production. You've always had great pitching here, going back to some of the names that maybe people didn't even recognize at the time. Matt Bayshore, a lot of people recognize. But tell me a little bit about why this team this year has been so special for you.
Well, it has been the offense. We were hitting over 400 a couple of weeks ago as a team, and I think right now we're down to 381. We're closing in on school records in some categories, so that's been really the difference this year. It's just we've scored over 200 runs. There aren't too many teams in the Dayton area that have done that, I know. So it's definitely been our offense.
Your pitching has always been the staple of your success, and I can go back and name some of those guys that stand out in my mind. Ross Vagadis, I always thought was a great pitcher for you, and I mentioned Matt Bayshore, who signed with Indiana, had a great career there, and then went to the Twins for a while in their minor league system. But you've got another staple of pitchers this year, anchored with Aaron Hughes, that keeps you in a lot of games.
Yeah, and a lot of our junior pitchers haven't gotten to throw this year, or they've thrown down on the JV level, because we have 5 seniors, and then Ian Yunker comes out of, I don't want to say nowhere, but he's come in as a sophomore and just throwing strikes, and so we're at least 6-7 deep without a doubt, and it's been and it seems like we always have been, so we've never really worried about we've had 3 good league pitchers. We've never had to start anybody twice in a week. Everybody gets 1 start a week, and that's kind of how we roll. So,
I asked Trent Duzis last week when he was on about how a school just gets pitchers. He's had his share, great pitchers there. Taylor Cherry comes to mind, and Corey Vance and people like that. This is a basketball school historically. Tipp has been. People overlook your success maybe in baseball, because you've won so many CBC titles, so many sectionals, districts. You've been to the regional round. You've been to the regional finals that one time a few years ago. How have you developed that pitching legacy here? Jim Johnson's got something to do with that.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. And we definitely had pitchers before Jim came on board. We had the Audi twins the year before Jim started, and we had Skolnicki kids. John pitched at Miami and so on. But the nice thing with Jim is he's continued just to build, that 3, 4, 5, 6 guy, so it's not just we had 3 good ones. We've been able to go deeper than that even, and I think Jim's had a lot to do with that.
I want to talk to you about a significant win you had this week. As I mentioned a moment ago, we had Trent Duzis on a couple of weeks ago talking about the Butler program, and he's been so good and so successful there. And you kind of broke his bubble the other night, because he had a string of 34 consecutive wins in the GWAC North, and you knocked him off here the other night. A great baseball game, but that's a significant win, and the kind of win you can really kind of rally around and build on for a season. When you get that type of success, that in your mind and in your heart as a competitor can carry you a long way.
Yeah, and in a sense, we needed a significant win
That's
on
right.
the season. We the day after we run Troy, they came and beat us
3-1.
yeah, 3-1, and then we go to Butler on Monday, and a tight game late, and we gave that one up with 3 errors in the 6th inning, and so Tuesday was a moral win, I guess you'd call it. You know, we weren't even thinking about the 34-game win streak that they had. We were more concerned with getting a win for us.
Moral or morale?
Yeah, either way, definitely needed it, and we came back late. We were up early 2-0, and I thought they were probably flat. They won the league the day before and probably came in a little flat, but they went ahead of us 4-2 late, and then bottom of 6th, it was almost like a gift because there was 2 outs and a ground ball to short, and their shortstop threw it away, and then we had a walk and an infield hit, and then our 9-hitter tied it, and our leadoff guy won it for us.
It's
so
baseball, isn't it?
It is. It's just, that's baseball.
You know, speaking of baseball, I've always said, and again, I go back to your record, you've been here 34 years, you've had so much success, so many wins, so many great players, and yet you've never won that state title. And I write about this, and it upsets the football coaches, of course, but I say that all the time that baseball is the hardest title to win of all the OHSAA sports, because you can't hide in baseball. Eventually, if you're a big slow kid in right field, somebody's going to hit the ball to you. If you can't hit and you're batting 9th, you're going to come up in the bottom of the 7th with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and it's either you or you go home. You can't hide. What would it mean to you personally and to this program to finally, after 34 years, break through and win a state title? It would
be amazing, first of all, just to get to the final
get to Columbus,
to get there. I mean, that would be, and it is. Baseball's tough. We've been the number 2 seed the last 2 years in the sectional final, and Aaron Hughes has pitched 2 1-0 shutouts against 2 kids that are now playing college baseball at Wright State. So, you know, it comes down to one pitcher that's hot, or it comes down to a little bit of luck, like we had the other night against Vandalia, just to win a game that, you know, it seemed like that wasn't gonna happen the other night for us. So.
Every coach I've ever talked to, Mark Brunswick, Lou Brunswick, Jim Hardman for the years that he was in Piqua, and Rick Gold, and certainly you talk about how important it is to have a culture of baseball in your community, and you certainly have that here in Tipp, and sometimes it's hard to just figure out where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know when it started here, but I know that we had definitely some influential kids in our program that kind of started it and went on to play college baseball, and then it just kind of took off from there. I can think of Steve and Matt Barhorst and the Oddie twins, like I said, and it goes back to there, but it just seemed to continue from that point forward. The kids wanted to play baseball here, and you know, we've been blessed. We've had the last losing season here was 1994. And we've only had one other season where we were close to 500. So, you know, I can look at a lot of teams have had some off years in the last 20, and the fact that we've been in the district finals now 7 years in a row, I think that's a big thing as well. So, you know, it's just the kids have been the ones that have bought in, and we've been fortunate as coaches to be able to coach those kids.
Pretty good coach said one time, you win with people.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't wrong.
Not at all.
Bruce, wish you the best. Tournament starts here in a few days, next week. In fact, you know, and that's a stressful run. It'll be fun to watch, see how you progress this year, and best of luck to you after 34 years. Maybe this is that year.
Yeah. It would be nice. It would be great. Might make my retirement come a little sooner.
You win with people, but you win with people like Bruce Cahill too. That wraps up this week's edition of First Person. Again, brought to you by the Bruns Realty Company here in Troy and Tipp City. Call them for your next move, residential or commercial. They'll help make it the right one. Thank you for your support of what we do on PressProsMagazine.com. For Coach Cahill and our sponsors at Bruns Realty, thanks again. We'll see you next time on another edition of First Person.